Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome live here on your home of the Raiders, the WHS Network, here on YouTube.com, here with our 2025 IHSAA Class 2A Sectional 40 Girls Basketball Tournament preview show here tonight. Again, as always, I'm your play-by-play broadcaster, Brandon Morvillius, alongside here with me, the man behind the camera, but in front of the camera here today, that is Jordan Redbeard McCoy. Appreciate you all for tuning in. As we will get right into things here this evening, again, we're looking to hopefully break a drought for your Wapahoney Lady Raider basketball team. They last won sectionals back in 1999, so 26 years ago. It's been a long time, but this is a team that's primed and ready to hopefully take that next step in what will hopefully be a winning weekend here for your Wapahoney Lady Raiders. So speaking of which, we will go ahead and take a look here at the bracket. This is the Sectional 40 tournament bracket. Again, the tournament will be held at Alexandria High School, so roughly about right around 45 minutes here from Raider Country, depending upon, I guess, where you live. But at least here from Wapahoney, it's right around a 40 to 45-minute drive. But again, Blackford will take on Alexandria Monroe there. That will be on Friday night. That will be February the 7th. Again, Alexandria won last night. They opened up the state tournament last night at Alexandria. Alexandria beat Muncie Burris rather handily, in which they went on to a nice easy win. That was 76-18 was the final score last night there for Alexandria. With that victory, now propelled them to 23-1 on the season. And then, so again, they will take on Blackford there in that first semifinal matchup there on Friday night at 6 p.m. Then you have Wapahoney and Eastbrook. Eastbrook was victorious last night as they defeated Madison Grant 54-17, which those two teams just played almost right out a month ago. It was on January the 4th at Madison Grant, in which Eastbrook won that one, final score 55-51. So definitely a downfall there for Madison Grant. We really fell off, and unfortunately for them, they end up getting beat by almost 40 points. So again, Wapahoney will take on Eastbrook there on Friday night at 7:30. And then the winner of those two semifinal round matchups will then face off in the Sectional 40 championship game there on Saturday night, February the 8th, 7:30 p.m. start time there for that one as well. So again, that's what the tournament bracket looks like. As I just mentioned, Alexandria coming off a big win, and they've done nothing but win this year. 23-1 now on the season with that victory last night, in which they have a couple girls, which I'll briefly talk about them here in just a few moments. But one girl especially, Jacqueline Hosier, that has just really put her team on her back and said, let's go to town every single ball game, and that's why they've been so successful. Is not only her, but she has a pretty good surrounding cast there as well that really has this team going in the right direction, and they're looking for their first sectional title in quite a while as well. So should be a great matchup if Alexandria was to get to the championship on Saturday night, and obviously if Wapahoney was to do the same thing. So we'll see how Friday night goes here for both teams, but definitely a promising draw on paper anyway there for the Alexandria Tigers. Now, when you look at this top half of the bracket, again, Blackford, coming into it, they've had a tough season. They've been very good. Them and Eastbrook have been very good the last number of years here, but unfortunately there for the Bruins this year, unfortunately they just haven't had it. They've struggled offensively. Defense hasn't, obviously flourished the way you want it to. But especially on offense, it's put more pressure, especially on the defense, to get stops, because the offense really hasn't done much. But here on the season, they're 2-21. That's what the record is. They're averaging 22.8 points a game. They're allowing 49.8. So, that's a 27-point differential right there. Not on the good side of things either. So, when you look at that, just that along with the record, that says a lot about what they're doing. But here on some of their statistics here, rebounds a game, they're at 15.8. So more than likely they're just getting out-rebounded, outplayed. 4.4 assists, 5.7 steals. They turn it over at a rate of 18.2 times a game. Field goal percentage, they're 25%. They're 162 of 645 from the field. They're 40 of 185, good for 22% from downtown, and 73 of 138, good for 53% there from the free throw line. So it's just been a tough year for them. But with that being said, it's state tournament time. So I don't think that, although on paper it does look very promising there for Alexandria, nothing's a given. That's why you got to go out and play 32 minutes of basketball, and Blackford, hopefully I would think that they should be ready. And Alexandria, I'm guaranteed that they'll be ready for that Friday night matchup there between those two teams. Now, a couple players to watch for Blackford. Riley Hazer, she's averaging 6.1 points per game, 3.9 rebounds. Reagan Ridgway coming in at 5.3 points per game and 2.8 rebounds. Not a lot going on offensively. You're averaging 22 points a game. Those are your top two players right there. And you're right at 5 to 6 points per game on offense with those two players. The rest of them are hovering right around 2. So it's hard to make an offensive impact when there's just not a lot going on there. But yet again, not meaning any kind of disrespect, but the numbers speak for themselves. And unfortunately, the results have kind of spoke for themselves here as well. But, if you're Blackford, what do you got to lose? You go out there Friday night, I think with that, what do you got to lose mentality, and play your very best, and hopefully your best will be enough to win, because you just never know. You get to this time of the year, anybody can be beaten any given night. So really looking forward to seeing what Blackford will do there against Alexandria, which, like I said, speaking of which, 23-1 record on the season. Now, I will say, them and Eastbrook, with them just playing last night, their stats aren't updated, so we're not going to read off their stats because I didn't want to give stats that weren't correct, that were not updated. So we're not going to necessarily go over them piece by piece like we would with some of these other teams. But as I just mentioned a few moments ago, Jacqueline Hosier for Alexandria, averaging over 26 points a game, 7 rebounds a game, averaging nearly 6 assists per game, and then over 7 steals a game. So this girl does it all. Offensively, defensively. I think here recently she just scored her 2,000th point. So she is the real deal. She's the complete package, both offensively and defensively, and that's what you want out of every player. You want to be able to have somebody that you can rely on both ends of the floor. It doesn't necessarily always end up that way, but you want to have the confidence that, when you put that player out there, that they're going to, give them your best. And not only that, they're going to produce, especially in big-time moments. And we've seen that time and time and again there from Jacqueline Hosier there for Alexandria. So definitely the best player that they have. But, she does have a pretty good surrounding cast here. Lily Harp averaging only over 9 points a game coming into that matchup last night there with Muncie Burris. Kylan McFall, much of the same right there, averaging 5, nearly 6 points per game as well. And then they have Riley Kellums, which is another young lady, most of a post player, 7.4 points a game, 3.8 rebounds. Again, that was going into last night's game there with Muncie Burris. So, again, those stats are going to fluctuate a little bit. That's why we didn't go ahead and break down team stats and what every single player has done, because, again, they're not completely accurate. They're one game off, but they're a tough team. Very good defensive team as well. They average they only allow 30 points a game on the defensive side of the basketball, so they're very disciplined. They get a lot of takeaways as well. They create turnovers a lot. I think in throughout the years that we've played them, even in regular season, which we haven't, in the last couple years, but when we would play them before, all they would do is press us. and trap us along the sidelines, and it made things tough on us, and it made things tough for every team. And so I expect that once again tomorrow night. They get a lot of turnovers and easy buckets, and so you've got to be disciplined on offense, and that's one area that I think every team I'm sure would like to be better at. And taking good care of the basketball, making sure that they're not shooting themselves in the foot and not giving away possessions. And Blackford's going to have a tough time of that, especially considering they average 18.2 turnovers a game. You would think tomorrow night, with them being more of a turnover, highly rated team right there in that category, that Alexandria will definitely try to wreak havoc on them. They're on the defensive side of the basketball. So interesting matchup. Blackford and Alexandria there in that first matchup on Friday night there again, February the 7th, 6 p.m. start time there from Alexandria High School. Next up here, we have your Wapahoney Raiders taking on the Eastbrook Panthers. Now, as I just mentioned, Eastbrook, they just played last night. They took care of business there against Madison Grant again, 54-17, in which I don't know. They're a team that they've gotten hot at times here throughout the season, and then they've had some cold spurts here as well. And so right now they're playing some really good basketball. They've played Madison Grant actually three times this year. Once in a tournament, it was in their county tournament, and then one regular season game. And both times they've won the game by 4 points. They won again, like I said, on January the 4th. They played them a month ago to yesterday, beat them 55-51, and then it wasn't much more than about 2 weeks ago, I think it was, then beat them 36-32. So they've been close ball games, except for the one last night, in which Eastbrook really took it to them right there, and so it's kind of hard to gauge a team like that. Now, what I will say is Wapahoney did play Eastbrook. That was back on January the 7th. They played them at Eastbrook, and the Raiders won at 52-36. Now, things, have happened in between times for both of these teams. I would like to think that hopefully we're a little bit better. We kind of struggled down the stretch there towards the end of the season, did Wapahoney, but we played an outstanding game the last regular season game there against Shenandoah. So, hopefully we'll be trending right back in the right direction here for us coming up there on Friday night. But Eastbrook, they average 35.8 points per game. They allow 43.7. So their offense, I wouldn't say it's, they light up the scoreboard, but they have some girls that can score some points. They have a young lady here on the season. Her name is Mia Bustos. A thorn in the side of everybody, averaging a little over 12 points a game, 12 rebounds. You're looking at a double-double every single ball game. That's tough to deal with. But Wapahoney has their own double-double machine right there, and Kimber Abshire. So that was a good matchup when they played about a month ago, and I expect another good matchup there coming up there on Friday night as well. So make sure to be mindful of her. Also, Brenner there of Eastbrook, another young lady that averages right around 9 points a game. She's a guard. I think that we'll definitely have to be mindful of. She's number 32, by the way. If you guys come to the ball game tomorrow night, or even watch us or listen to us, so she's right around 9 points a game. She can shoot the ball, but we kind of held her in check the first time we played her. And then they have Fox there, 9.5 points per game. That's Michaela Fox. It's somebody to like I said, just keep track of, be mindful of going into Friday night's matchup. Those would be the three players that I would really keep a close eye on. So Fox, Brenner, and then Bustos. I like our chances, but yet again, as I've already mentioned, it's state tournament time. Anything can happen. Anything's possible. I'm looking forward to watching Wapahoney go out there and get the W. I think that's the only mindset you should have. I know from a player standpoint that you have to have a one-track mind, and that is staying focused on that game. Don't worry about what happened the last time you played them. don't even worry about the last game you played. Because this starts essentially a whole new season, a whole new opportunity, and it's a do-or-die situation here as well. You win, you move on, you lose, you go home. You don't want to lose. You don't want to be sitting at home watching the sectional championship or regional championship, whatever. You want to be there in the end. And Friday night is just step one in that process. But I think that we have a very good team. I've said that time and time again all season long. We've had very good stretches here throughout the year. Majority of the season was very good. Like I said, right here towards the end of the year, hit a little bit of a rough patch, but I still thought that we played fairly good basketball. It was nice to see us in the year. We had it was a 19-point win. It's 52-33 if I remember correctly. The victory over Shenandoah there last week to end the regular season. And I think that, if the ladies can use that to really to hopefully help their confidence. When you lose a tough one, we lost to LaPel, in which I thought that was a very winnable game. After that senior night loss, I think that definitely hurt a little bit. Especially on your home floor. You want to defend your home court. You want to win every ball game, and we came up short there in that one. But it was nice to see us bounce back from that, get a good win on the road against a pretty decently solid team there in Shenandoah, and hopefully now the Raiders are, as I mentioned, trending in the right direction right here and ready to go on a nice lengthy run of good winning basketball. Playing the game the right way and making sure that we're taking good care of the basketball, and hopefully making smart decisions, taking good shots, and hopefully shots fall, and we can continue to bring that defense that we've brought throughout the year. I mean, we're averaging 31.8 points per game on the defensive side of the basketball. Again, that's right around what Alexandria has been doing. So, we have the ability on offense. We're at 50.6 points per game on the offensive side of the basketball. So, I think, if we can get past Eastbrook, we could make things interesting on Saturday night. Now, again, you have to first win Friday. So, you've got to be solely focused on Eastbrook here. But, looking forward, at least from our standpoint, we could make that a very good ball game. And I think a very winnable game. Some people might say, "Oh, you've got to be crazy." Alexandria is 23-1. Have a couple dominant players, Hosier being obviously one of them. There's no way. I think there is a way, and that's not me just rooting for Wapahani and trying to be, optimistic. I mean, it's just being brutally frank with you. I really do think we have a chance, as long as you play the game the right way. You got to take good care of the basketball. Where, sometimes we might kind of falter in that category. But in order to win championships, you've got to play good team, basic fundamental basketball. And, it's going to take a lot for us to get there and to win it all, but I think we're more than capable of that happening. So the Raiders, again, you have Kimber Abshire. She's been an outstanding asset to have throughout the course of the year. It's nice to have her come in and being able to contribute the way she's done this year, averaging right around a double-double again, 12.3 points a game, 10.9 rebounds. She has 4.1 blocks on the year, and then right around about 3.5 steals, over over 3 assists per game, over 2 steals. So she's a complete package as well. And we've had a good surrounding cast there. Megan Luce, Emily Luce. Megan's right around 12 points a game. Emily's right around 10. Bailey Carpenter, she's been out sick. She wasn't at the game last week there against Shenandoah, but hopefully we'll have her back. She's really done well. Haley Bivens coming off the bench. Zoe Koger, as well as Ava Cook. When they came off the bench. And then you can't forget about Judy Dargo. She's a young lady that, if she starts getting hot from beyond the three-point line, watch out. And we've seen that, different times throughout the course of the year as well. So, she's one of those ones that when she's on, she's on. When she's not, she finds other ways to make an impact. And I think that's all you can ask out of any player. you've got to find multiple ways to make an impact, whether it be on offense or defense or both. Whatever the case might be, every player's got to be ready to fulfill their role, and hopefully they're able to do that coming up there on Friday night. Again, it'll be Alexandria and Blackford. Yes, thank you, Redbeard. But they will be going out at 6 o'clock on Friday night, February the 7th. Then the very next game, that will then feature Wapahani and Eastbrook. They're at 7:30, I would imagine. Hopefully we'll get started on time, not a guarantee. But again, make sure to follow us here on the IHSAA, our IHSAA channel. Again, that should be scrolling down there on the bottom of your screen, which we'll show that again here in just a second. I think it was just on there a few moments ago. But we're not going to be on YouTube, so none of the state tournament action will be on YouTube coming up on Friday night. Now, obviously, we still have our boys basketball games. That's still going to be on YouTube. But everything else, not so much. We're going to be having all of state tournament action held exclusively right here on the website. Again, it's scrolling there on the bottom of your screen, HTTPS, and then semicolon 2/www.ihsaatv.org/Wapahani Raiders/. So please go on there. That's where you'll find us coming up on Friday night and hopefully Saturday night and hopefully beyond there in the girls' state basketball tournament. So hopefully this gave you guys a little bit of insight here tonight. Again, I know we didn't have stats on Eastbrook and Alexandria with those not being updated. Like I said, I just didn't want to give you guys bad information. But Alexandria record speaks for itself. Eastbrook has been playing very well down the stretch. Got a couple of really good victories, and so they're riding the wave right now and looking to take over and hopefully for themselves they're looking to get to a sectional championship. But Wapahani's going to stand in the way and hopefully take care of business there coming up on Friday night. So we look forward to seeing you guys again. That website was the only site that you can watch that game coming up on Friday night. So again, it'll be Blackford and Alexandria at 6 o'clock, Wapahani and Eastbrook coming up there at hopefully right around 7:30, and then with the championship game being played on Saturday night at 7:30 p.m. Again, all Sectional 40 tournament action will be held at Alexandria High School. So we hope you guys tune in Friday night. Again, we'll have the boys basketball game coming up tomorrow night, Wapahani and Cowan. So until next time, again, I'm Brandon Morvillius alongside cameraman Jordan Redbeard McCoy. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time here on your home of the Raiders, the WHS Network.